Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you very much for your tweets. Ali and Stevie, how's the shoulder, Stevie?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I feel great today.
Look at that.
So, honestly.
Careful.
Right. So,
Just overdid it.
field goal is good. What's the signal?
Yeah.
Touchdown. What's the signal?
You can't get that up, but
no,
you could shave. You could shave. That's a good start.
Hey.
I got a shave today.
Beautiful. That's
Yeah.
very good. Gab Marcotti. It's Gab's first time I've seen you since you're back from holiday. Where did you go? Nice little tan.
We didn't go anywhere.
He did. He went on holiday last week, didn't he?
I didn't. You've been away,
I
ain't you?
went nowhere.
Oh, it was Jules. Oh, yeah.
I was supposed to know. I ended up
But Gab was meant to go. And
for a walk along the Thames.
Oh, lovely.
Gab was meant to go, and everybody got COVID. Is that right, Gab? They got COVID.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
Stevie, you're well into all of
Yes.
this.
Because you were away and Gab was on.
Oh, I
Just giving you
see.
the update. That's all.
Gab just... you got you a brave soldier, Gab
Honestly,
battling through.
I know.
What a
Professional.
moment.
Just professional.
For Ali, what kind of signings do Barca need to make in the summer? Would the likes of Koundé or Bremer be good additions at centre-back for them? They're, of course, heavily linked to Christensen, aren't they, at Chelsea?
Center back is a position that they have to address. I would argue that right back is a position that you need to address. I don't think Serginho Dest is the answer, and Dani Alves is not going to last much longer. That is also something that Barcelona must look at. And then you also have to figure out what is it that you think you're going to get in the near future and in the distant future from Frenkie de Jong, and whether that's a move that you need to make in order to say, maybe we make room for somebody else because he's not quite what we think he was going to be.
Gab, is Mourinho getting enough love for what he's done with the Roma team? They're unbeaten since January in the league and in a European semi-final. This is from JM.
Exactly. He's getting a lot of love from the Roma fans, and I think ultimately that's what matters. That's his constituency. He's had a ton of highs and lows. You can mention, oh look, they're in the Conference League semi-finals. They're going to play Leicester, but yeah, they also lost to something called Bodo Glimt for the second time this season. So he's had the ups and downs, but he's really connected with the supporters. And right now, the hardcore, the match-going fans are still very much with him. In the end, nobody would have been unrealistic to expect Roma to challenge for the title or really even top four in his first season. But yeah, no, he's on track. He's spent a ton of money, but the pieces are coming together. And I think next season is going to be when he can really take it to the next level, if he does take it to the next level.
For the boys in the studio.
No.
Have Chelsea regretted selling Tammy Abraham to fund the purchase of Lukaku? One is flying in Rome, and the other has fallen to earth in London.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Tammy Abraham was the answer to their centre-forward problem. So I think they did the right thing there. They obviously took a little bit. I mean, when you spend 100 million, it seems a little strange, but I think they took a little gamble that Lukaku had matured and actually was a real man now and was all about himself and wanted to carry the team. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. So, there you go.
There was plenty of evidence for Chelsea to make the decision and saying, hey, has this guy been able to score with enough consistency and show the sort of personality that we think we need in order for him to be an important part of this group? Is this the missing piece? They did their homework, and if you watch Lukaku play for Inter, you would have said, yeah, absolutely. All of us would have signed up and said, yeah, we think this is good for Chelsea. This is exactly what they need. Sometimes moves are not perfect. Sometimes
it doesn't work out, right?
No, it doesn't work out, and it's not the match that they would have wanted. Not Lukaku and not Chelsea.
Gab, how much love is Tammy Abraham getting in Rome?
Oh, he's getting a lot because Tammy Abraham, I think, he's not the most technically gifted player. I think you'd be the first to say that. But he's a phenomenal athlete. He's very, very smart in his movement. He's unselfish. And he works his rear end off. And, for this Roma side, where they are now, he's phenomenal in that role. But, could he have done the job at Chelsea? I don't know. Chelsea had a really long, hard look at him. And I think Chelsea, by the way, just go back to Lukaku. I think they're looking at a plan B as well, potentially, if they need a guy off the bench or somebody in the mix. They really like what Armando Broja is doing at Southampton. So you wonder if they need somebody off the bench, maybe he could come back and see if he develops.
Here we go. Let's talk about your BFF, Gab. Is Carlo Ancelotti underrated? Because he's won 3 Champions League, whereas the perceived GOATs, Pep Guardiola and Sir Alex Ferguson, have only won 2.
In fact, I think nobody in history has won more Champions League titles than Carlo Ancelotti, just to be clear. And if Real Madrid win La Liga, he'll be the first to have won each of the big 5 titles. Like, underrated, overrated, I don't know. I just think there's a reason he continues to get big jobs. I don't think he's perfect. I don't think he acts like he's some sort of visionary. But I think what we're seeing more recently, it's not just him. I think, Jurgen Klopp fits into this too, and 1 or 2 others, that, you can go and you can be successful and you can be a good manager and kind of generally be a nice guy. You don't have to be a genius professor type. You don't have to be an Old Testament God. You can just kind of treat people well, and generally they'll perform for you. And I think that's what he's showing. I mean, I don't think he's underrated. I think people who know that, he's certainly up there.
Antonio Cassano says he's overrated under Gab. He said no player's ever improved under Ancelotti. What's his beef there?
Yeah, I'm sure Andrea Pirlo would agree with that, given that he was a bit of a wasted talent number 10 when Ancelotti rocked up at Milan, and then after that he became one of the greatest midfielders in the history of Serie A. So look, Antonio Cassano, very, very gifted player, clearly never quite added up. He was sort of on the Balotelli plan for talent fulfillment. So I think, he's entitled to his opinion. What can I tell you? He's got a lot of wacky opinions.
He had a good time in Madrid, I'll tell you that.
Oh, and by the way, sorry, just kind of this slide, yeah. Sorry, right. Who do most people in Spain think is the favorite for the Ballon d'Or this year? Might that be Karim Benzema?
Oh.
How many Ballon d'Ors has he won in the past? 0?
I thought we could let it slide, Gab. Yeah. What happened to let it slide?
I'm not saying Ancelotti's improved it. Sorry, just something's wiping me out.
It's all right. It's all right.
He's over it. Turn the page.
We need to get Cassano on the show.
Did he have as good a time as you did in Madrid?
He had more resources than I had.
Oh.
So, yeah.
But that didn't limit you, though.
Well, it does limit you a little bit.
Well, access, I suppose.
He very much enjoyed himself.
Okay.
If AC Milan gets bought, will Serie A regulate spending and their behaviour ownership, or will it become like what happened in the Premier League, Gab?
I don't understand what they mean by regulate spending or the Premier League. I mean, if you're referring Milan right now, the owners, Elliott Management, they've entered into an exclusivity period with a Bahraini fund called InvestCorp, and the valuation is about $1.1 billion supposedly for Milan. But let's be clear on this. This isn't like crazy man from the Gulf buying a club and chucking money into it. InvestCorp is a real fund. They own stakes in companies and whatnot. There's no indication they're going to go on a wild spending spree. It's not like one individual who's doing it as a vanity project. So I think that's the direction that they're going in. As far as the Premier League are concerned, they do have spending controls in the Premier League as well. People seem to forget this. So I mean, if the question is, will Milan be bought by somebody from Bahrain who's going to go and spend bazillions and turn them into Paris Saint-Germain? No, that's not going to happen.
Stevie?
Did I tell you?
If I was new to soccer, what team would you guys choose for me to root for? Good question. Because you don't want to jump on a bat. You don't want to be a Liverpool, Man City, do you really? Or
why not?
Real Madrid, Barcelona?
Well, you want Burnley?
Burnley could come up. Nice and performance in the Championship next season.
So wouldn't they say, Why should I support Burnley? What are you going to say?
Well, they're gritty, tough.
Tough.
Okay.
Nice place to visit.
Mr. Nicol, why should I support Burnley?
Why are they calling you Mr. Nicol?
Yeah.
Well, they're young, aren't they?
Good teacher.
Well, to be fair, everybody calls me Mr. Nicol now.
Do they?
Honestly, I make you feel really
Who
old.
calls you Mr. Nicol?
Everybody.
Who?
People.
What people?
People that I seem to go and talk to.
What are you talking to? The police.
Well, it's usually preceded by, can I see your insurance and your driving
Well,
license,
yes,
but-
exactly.
About, if we're not going to mention sort of the
Yeah.
big ones, about Athletic
mention
Club
it.
Bilbao.
Oh, I thought you said Atletico Madrid then, just calling him up.
No. I wouldn't do that to you.
Burnley seems a good option compared to Atletico Madrid.
No.
Yeah, Athletic Club, nice story.
There's a nice story.
Great city.
Great city, great food.
Great food.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's not
a
bad.
great environment to go and watch the game.
Yeah.
Why not?
Burnley.
Pun?
Burnley. Great city.
Shut up,
great
Mr.
food.
Nicol. Gab?
Well, I think Bilbao is a good choice. If you want to move away from some of the hipsters' choices, you could, like St. Pauli, or I could come up with a whole slew of Bundesliga clubs that Derek Ray would approve of. But yes, you could. There's a lot you could mention there, so I'll purposely steer away from that. And I might suggest, here in the Premier League, I might suggest a club like Brighton, where there is a strong connection with the fans, or in Serie A, I think as well. Atalanta, gorgeous city again, great food, tons of local kids coming through the system, although not in the first team so much right now. And every year, the Atalanta Ultras organize this 3-day festival in the countryside, where they go and they have monster truck rallies and rock concerts, and the players kind of have to show up at the party because they're invited and stuff. And and obviously, as you know, every kid who's born in Bergamo is given an Atalanta jersey and a certificate where their parents are invited to, unless they have ties to another part of the country or they're fans of other teams, where they have to pledge that they're going to raise their kid to be an Atalanta fan. Because ultimately, you really should support your local club. If you don't do that,
what kind of crowds do
you're
Atalanta
probably a
get?
bandwagon jumper.
What kind of crowds do Atalanta get, Gav?
With a new stadium,
What was stadium?
30,000, something like that.
Right, you're still comparing it to Turf Moor?
Well, what's the population of Atalanta?
All right, here we go. Geography class.
Yeah. I'm just wondering whether this...
Population of Bergamo, Stevie,
I beg your pardon, Bergamo. What's that?
is about, I think it's a couple 100,000. But the main thing is they're 25 miles from Milan, where there are two very big clubs. So it's not like it's one of those regional clubs that has this enormous catchment area.
Okay, any more questions, Steve?
I just wondered how the certificate and the strip and all the newborn babies were, how that was working out. That was all.
Oh, early days.
I just wanted to know.
Baby steps. Stevie, 10 years ago, Scotland had Ferguson, Dalglish, Moyes, Coyle, McLeish, Lambert, Keane, all managing in the Premier League. Right now, there is only Moyes. The managers of Celtic and Rangers are also not Scottish. Are you concerned about the state of Scottish coaching?
Well, if only we had a Scottish coach.
Keane's
I don't think it's getting to do-
Keane? Oh, it's different. No? Anyway.
I don't think it's getting anything to do with. I mean, look at the Premier League. It seems like the Germans are taking over the Premier League right now.
Yes.
So I guess a lot of these things are kind of cyclical.
Yeah.
But as to why there's not a Scotsman really, other than Moisey, with the character, shall we say, of your Dalglishes and your Fergusons, I think that's to do with society more than anything else.
Oh,
Here we go. Deep thoughts. Here we go.
Well, I just don't think they breed men like that anymore.
Right.
No. The upbringing that Scotsmen used to have was part of the reason why you had these strong men.
Okay.
these football guys, real football men, as we call them.
But do you
That's
think
not there
do you
anymore.
think football would accept them now as they did then, with that strong man alpha attitude?
Well, that's what Klopp's got, right? Strongman alpha attitude.
Yeah,
Big
but
time.
Klopp's a little bit more lovable than even Fergie or Dalglish, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. He goes out his way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas their thoughts were, you love me the way I am. I'm not going to go out my way to make you love me.
Right.
Whereas Klopp clearly has a little bit of the today's society about him, where it's a good idea to have people to like you as well as respecting you.
There you go.
You just want to be called Mr. Nickel.
Gav, did you want to add to today's society?
Well,
No, it's funny. I mean, first of all, when you were rattling off the list, that it was just weird having Owen Coyle, with all due respect, in the same breath as Dalglish and Ferguson. Yeah. But I was seeing what he said about what you were saying about sort of alpha males. I mean, the one Scott who is in the Premier League still, Davy Moyes, I mean, he's certainly not alpha. He's a very, very nice man who's very accommodating, and yet he is a success. In fact, if you kind of look at the top of the table, maybe there is something in it. I mean, without getting into personal preferences, but there's certainly more warm and fuzzy people than there were, 10 years ago. They take away Conte, who's obviously not warm and fuzzy, and Pep can be a little spiky sometimes, but generally most other people are more the cuddly, emotionally connected, high EQ types than we saw back then.
Yeah, but that's only because you've got to be like that. It's like every single manager today gets in front of a microphone and comes out with all this claptrap about, this is the way I play the game.
Right.
My players haven't quite got on board with the way I want the game to be played and all this. I mean, the
philosophy. Philosophy is the word you're looking for.
Yes, aye. Can you talk to us in a proper language where we all understand it? And stop coming out with your nonsense, with your degrees and all this garbage.
Degrees?
Yeah.
Oh, damn your education.
Who needs this education?
Yeah.
Okay, final question, kind of on a similar point. Stevie, can coaching truly overcome talent? For example, if Dan and you were coaching two teams and he had a more talented one, could you close the gap?
Well, you can. It's possible. Listen, I played for a team in Liverpool
The arms
at
up,
the time.
it's much
We're the best team in the land, and we got beaten in a cup final by Wimbledon.
Right.
And there's no way did they have anywhere near the ability we had, but they got organised and went about it in a certain way. So yes, it's not always about ability. You have to match the other things that the other team has.
Stevie, but that's not because Wimbledon didn't beat you because they had a better coach than you did. You wouldn't say that, would you?
No, I didn't say that. I'm probably more on.
Well, that was the question, though.
Well, so it was.
So can we
that's true. Yeah.
we're live.
I didn't actually look at it.
Okay, all
I didn't actually look at it like that.
Right.
I was thinking more of just in a game.
Right.
Um,
But if I took over Manchester City and you had Norwich, could your Norwich side beat my Manchester City?
If we were to play you 10 times, we could beat you once.
Why? What would you do?
Well, because for the same reason that Wimbledon beat us in the cup final. And it had nothing to do with having a better coach.
So if Manchester City played Norwich 10 times, Norwich would win once?
They might win once.
Why? What would you say? What makes you say that?
Because you're the coach.
Is he taking the mic?
I'm not taking the mic. I don't see what argument
because
you can make.
Right, because what you do, if you're Norwich City playing against Man City,
right,
in the 10 games you're going to do the same thing.
Right.
You're going to sit behind the ball and you're going to try and give them nothing. You're going to try and get a breakaway, score a goal, win the game 1-0.
But if it worked, it didn't work 9 times out of 10, why would it work on the 10th time?
Because you don't have a choice. You've got to do it. Right. What else are you going to do?
That doesn't answer the question. What's going to be the difference?
Well, right, hold on. So you agree that it's possible that they could win that 1 out of 10?
No, I don't. I don't get the argument.
Oh, so don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. We could play Wimbledon 10 times, right? And they
Why do
could
you keep
maybe
bringing up Wimbledon?
because they could maybe beat us once, right? Right.
Yeah.
So then, if you're Sam Allardyce or Sam Allardyce,
Right.
he'll turn around and say, "We outcoached them. We outcoached them. They don't like it." but the truth is, you're doing the same thing, and it's got nothing to do with the coaching.
But just in general, the fact that Dan is coaching a team, I don't think they're set up for success. Just in principle.
Well, because there's so many different ways you look at
Stevie,
this. Look, are we
Stevie,
talking about
I
winning
think-
the league?
I think what you're underestimating,
Sorry, Gab.
you need to consider that if Dan were to coach Norwich, Dan would come and he would play his brand of football,
Yeah.
and he
My
would implement
philosophy.
his philosophy
Yeah.
in a granular way throughout all levels of the club and be emotionally collected to the players. You can put a value on that.
And we know Wimbledon. We know Wimbledon beat Liverpool
not
because they
straightforward.
outsynched you.
Well,
Steve.
you know,
The
because I've
singing
just
in-
told you 10 times.
The singing.
The question can be taken a few ways.
I don't think it can. Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis, and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.